Hey everybody, I'm Blind Ryan, and this is regarding all these allegations, these court filings against Blizzard, but it also kind of stretches out to all these other big corporations and my overall frustration with working as an accessibility advocate and having to basically put up with this shit. And before I get started, I'm not talking about the rank and file. I'm not talking about the people who are in the companies trying to make it better. Those people are awesome. I love all of you people. I love talking to you people. You aren't the people I'm talking about unless you're actively advocating for anti-consumer practices or actively being, well, for lack of a better term, monsters. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the companies you work for. And no, this is not some screed about how, oh, you should quit. You know, people have got to work. It is what it is. I don't blame you. But I just, there's a reason I support indie devs over the big corporations. There's a reason I reach out to indie devs over the big corporations, because the more people you involve in a project, the more chance that some shit like this whole thing with Blizzard is going to go down. And I'm not saying that other people shouldn't support them. I'm saying I'm not supporting them. I don't care what accessibility features they put in. That's great. I'll talk about the accessibility features they put in, because even a bad or a good idea from a bad person is still a good idea. And a good idea that has come from a bad corporation, from good people, deserves to be lauded. Those people deserve to be lauded because they came up with a good idea. But I personally cannot support companies that do this shit. I cannot support EA because they are basically the Dorothy Puente of fucking video game companies. They murder and destroy these smaller companies that they buy up. They butcher them. And then they do this whole loot box thing, which is praising the lowest common denominator idiots who cannot stop spending money on these fucking things. It's predatory behavior. I will not support EA. I do not give them money. You might be asking, well, Ryan, you just did a descriptive stream of Mass Effect. Right. I didn't buy that game. Somebody else bought it for me. So I didn't spend money on that. And I was never planning to spend money on that. So it's not a distinction I'm particularly proud of, but it is a distinction. Back in the day, I would have pirated it. But with Comcast actually getting on top of piracy, I haven't pirated in 10, 15 years, I'd say. And I certainly wasn't in Washington. But, so it's, I had a big discussion with, I don't even want to name names. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I had a big discussion, and it was basically, one guy was trying to say, oh, well, their accessibility stuff and the accessibility providers and those people deserve the money. Yeah, they do, but the corporations aren't going to give them the money for this. So, I don't know. I can't support this shit. I cannot support bad behavior. I'm not saying you shouldn't. You do whatever you want to do, but I personally cannot do it. It sickens me that people are trying to rationalize this shit. And I've got to take a stand. And to be honest, to be truthful, this kind of shit, keeping on hearing about this kind of shit ever since Gamergate, ever since EA back in the day, ever since hearing those rumblings about Ubisoft and their allegations and fucking Rockstar and their crunch time and all of these horrible conditions for these devs, it just, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with all of these people who are trying to rationalize this shit. I just want to talk to devs about making games more accessible. So, honest to God, I think after I'm done with ADOM and Disco, I'm done. I don't want to be a part of an industry that enables this kind of behavior. I don't want to be lumped in with a group of people who enable this kind of behavior. Honestly, I've gotten feathers in my cap. They're not big feathers, they're not industry-changing feathers, but I'd like to think I've done some good in the industry. And I can't take these people who are saying that, oh, the ends justify the means. The ends don't justify the means. Methods matter. And letting companies get away with this shit and saying, oh, it's, well, at least they're doing accessibility. It's just, no. No, just, there has to be a line. And cubicle crawls apparently are my line, as well as butchering companies and loot boxes and crunch and just it is similar to why I stopped watching wrestling. Once I learned what a monster all these promoters are and how badly they treat their workers, it's like, I can't in good conscience watch this shit anymore. It doesn't give me the same amount of joy as it used to. And it's the same reason I don't really play that many AAA games, because they just, you think about all that, it's just, ew, that's fucking nasty. So I guess this is me saying I'm gonna quit once Adom and Disco are done. But even then, I'm not even sure if I'll be able to quit. I don't think I'll be able to quit. I really don't. But what I will be doing is after Adom and Disco are done, I don't know, maybe before that, I haven't decided. I might just start going on a mass mute spree on my Twitter and just keep my NSFW artists on my feed and just leave it at that. And then if I need to contact any devs, like if I see a game coming out, I don't know. All of this seriously makes me not want to do this anymore, because I don't want to be in bed with people who tacitly support this kind of awful behavior in order to further accessibility. It's like, look, I want accessibility as much as the next guy, but if that means supporting Blizzard, if that means supporting cubicle crawls, if that means supporting EA and supporting butchering companies and supporting loot boxes and supporting Rockstar's crunch and supporting just all of this horrible behavior, I don't want to do it. I just want to talk to fucking single devs, 4 or 5 team devs, fucking small groups. Because in the case of small groups, when something bad happens, they can just get rid of the guy. Like, I won't name names, but I know of a company. I worked with them in the past. They were very helpful. They're very nice. They had a guy who, I guess, said some things and did some things that they didn't agree with. And so what did they do? They got rid of him. Problem solved. Just, cancer excised. Just gone. Now, whether I agree or not with what they did, that's not the point. The point of the matter is they saw a problem, they corrected the problem, boom, done. But with these big companies, there is no correcting the problem. Like, one of my Discord members said, even if this lawsuit with Blizzard goes through, they're not going to change. The only way that they'll actually change is if some actual big consequences come from all this, and that shit's not going to happen. Not in California. All they have to do is, pay a bunch of money out, and they're good. And they've already got money. Look at how much they pay their fucking CEO, for God's sakes. So, I don't know what the point of this is. The whole point of this was, I was told to make a video, I was told to get it off my chest, and I'm getting it off my chest. And, everyone's like, oh, you'll feel better. Okay, whatever. But, so, that's my thinking on this whole thing. I'm not going to support any of these companies. If you want to support them, that's your business. Everybody's got their own thing. Libertarian principles. You do you. Whatever. And yes, I realize you do you is basically a really sophisticated way of saying go fuck yourself, but that's not how I intended here. So, anyway, rant over. I'm done. I might quit after Adom and Disco. I'm not sure. I'll definitely be continuing my descriptive stuff because that has nothing to do with this, and that actually brings me fulfillment. Whereas the accessibility trip hasn't brought me fulfillment largely in a long time, but like, I get bits of fulfillment. Every time I talk to a dev, I get fulfillment. Every time I talk to a dev, I feel like I'm actually doing good. But every time I talk to my peers who don't agree with me, and I know why they don't agree with me. I came in from Gamergate. I came in from doing a year of prison. I've actually seen some shit. I've actually been out in the real world. And a lot of my peers haven't. And I can say that because until I went to jail, I was just like them. Because if you're disabled, you're sheltered. That's just the way it is. And you can disagree with me all you want, but it's the truth. Most disabled people, a vast majority of them, especially in the States, are sheltered. It is what it is. You can't blame anybody. Your parents want to keep you safe. Fine. Whatever. My parents wanted to keep me safe too. Unfortunately, abuse happens. And it wasn't their fault. But I feel so fucking alien to everyone else in my fucking industry, which I say I still haven't earned a paycheck, that I'm tired of fighting against the fucking tide. You guys are obviously better at it than I am. You guys are obviously better at the whole accessibility shtick than I am. I'm glad I'm able to reach these devs that nobody else has apparently talked to. But I can't do it anymore. It's not good for my health. You know, fibro, blah blah blah. So we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, I think I've ranted enough. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. I actually would like to know what people think. And if you know who I'm talking about, don't go attacking anybody. I don't. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm just here to vent my thoughts and get my thoughts out. So I'm not stressing out all damn day. Anyway, I have been Blind Ryan, and I hope you found something of value in this fucking train of thought.